Micah Parsons isn't coming back to simply return to form. He's coming back angry. The Packers may have unleashed the NFL's next nightmare, but Green Bay must survive a brutal early stretch without its biggest weapon.
Look, but Micah, in many ways, really determines the fortunes of this football team because, look, you can quantify how much their pass rush suffered when he was out. I mean, statistically, objectively, you can look at it and go, look, they need him on the field. They just do. They have no other profile anywhere close to that. They just don't. And look, a lot of times when you're acquiring somebody like that, you're going to have to give up something to get something special like this. You can't, hoard all the guys that look like him. Mm-hmm. So that's why when you have him on your football team, I mean, look, Gerald knows this. When you have guys like this, you're telling offensive linemen, stay away from him, stay away from his knees. Yes. You got to put him in bubble wrap until you get to the game on Sunday. Unfortunately, he got hurt playing the game. So look, we know how important he is to this team. Hopefully they can come out of the first quarter of their season at least 500 and roll from there.
They're a team, I feel like, for the Green Bay Packers, are getting a little less attention than normal. I'm talking to Detroit bounce back. Can the Bears take the next step? The Minnesota quarterback situation. What do you expect from the Packers this year?
Well, if you're looking at division, nobody's running away with the division. Anybody can really win this division, including the Vikings, because the Vikings had a great defense, and depending on how Kyler Murray plays, they can even have a chance to win this. So people counting out the Packers, that's a mistake because this division is up for grabs.
Final word.
The parity in this division is also what makes it very tricky. They have to get.
They're worried about the wrong thing. The knee may heal, but what comes back with Micah could be far more terrifying. And Micah just sent the entire NFL a chilling warning.
People are worried about the knee. They should be worried about how I'm going to play when I get back. The anger, the frustration, the things that I'm going to have to let out because, you know, how long it's been since I played. So I think that's what people should really worry about, like, how great is Micah going to be when he gets back? Not about when I get back, because that's the short term.
That's what I'm talking about. He didn't say it in animated fashion, but the words, that's what you want to hear him say, right? The world should be worried about when I come back.
Yeah, that's how alphas are. Look, he's basically channeling his inner Kevin Durant. He's basically telling the league, you know who I am, and you know what it'll be like when I come back. So don't start tripping about when I'm going to come back. Just know this, when I do and I'm feeling right, as Gerald's going to talk about, you know what you have to worry about. And that's exactly what you expect from a guy like this. He's dominated every level of football in his entire life.
You can't just throw letters together.
But you know what I mean. It's just like
he's like 50% right on all of them.
You got a lot of the letters correct.
He's like number 3 on this list, number 4 on this list, number 2 on this list, all high up there. But it doesn't translate to wins. They went 9-8 last year. So do you look into those type of analytics, or is there just one or two that you put your stock in and say, well, this is kind of why? Because that stuff drives me nuts. They got all these analytics.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's a component of the game. I mean, analytics, big part of it, and there's a lot of stock that's put into that, and deservingly so. Again, I guess I'm old school. I go by my naked eye test, right? Like, you know, is the guy playing well? Is he not? You know, you could just see that with your own 2 eyes, and that's kind of the way that I always look at it in my mind.
Gabe and Chewy, the Packers average about 8, maybe 9 possessions, offensive possessions per game. That's just not going to get it done, I don't think. I just don't think they're on the field enough to be able to win some of these games. But I digress. Does he feel like a top 5 quarterback, or does he feel like on the outside looking in?
He doesn't feel like a top 5 quarterback to me. I mean, I give you 5 quarterbacks right now that I think would be better. Top 5, like when he's at his peak and playing well, yes, he can be a top 5. Does he do that on a consistent week-to-week basis? If he comes out this year and does that, he has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback, but I don't think he's performed like a top 5 quarterback. He's been a good quarterback. He's been paid like a good quarterback. Let me see him get them to a Super Bowl. Let me see him get them through the playoffs. Let me see him put up good, clean stats week after week, and then we could talk about being a top 5 quarterback. But when we're talking about quarterbacks now in the league, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford. That's off the top of my head. Who am I forgetting? Right?
Well, you can't
I
put,
think you kinda
you
went
can't
the
put
big
Drake
ones.
May in there yet, even though he had a great year. Sample size
Drake
isn't big
May.
enough.
I
Yeah.
think you can. I think you can put him in there. By
Okay.
the way, he was never. He got his team to the Super Bowl.
Micah Parsons isn't coming back just to prove his knee is healthy. He's coming back angry. And that should terrify the NFL. The Packers may have acquired one of football's most destructive defensive weapons, but now comes the nightmare. Green Bay has to survive the opening stretch without him. Because when Parsons disappeared, the Packers' pass rush didn't simply get weaker, it fell off a cliff. This is not hype. It's measurable. Parsons changes the entire geometry of an offense. Offensive linemen have to know where he is. Quarterbacks have to speed up. Protection schemes bend around him. And now, after months of rehab, Parsons is sending a message. Stop worrying about his knee. Start worrying about what happens when he feels like Micah again. But the real danger isn't simply whether Parsons can return. It's when Green Bay needs him most. The Packers are taking a conservative approach, and they have to. Parsons underwent surgery on September 29th, and the target everyone should circle is October 18, exactly 9 months later. That's Week 6. And that game? The Dallas Cowboys. His former team. A revenge game. Parsons has reportedly made it clear he doesn't want to play before that 9-month mark, giving Green Bay roughly 2 weeks of ramp-up time before that potential return. Think about the storyline. 9 months after the surgery, against Dallas, in a Packers uniform, with the entire league waiting to see whether the old Micah Parsons is still there. And according to the analysis, Green Bay looked like a championship-level team when Parsons went down, then didn't win another game without him. That tells you everything. But even if Parsons returns exactly when expected, Green Bay still has another problem. The NFC North may be the most dangerous division in football. Make one mistake in this division and your season can collapse. The Packers aren't running away with anything. Detroit can bounce back. Chicago believes it can take the next step. Minnesota still has a defense capable of ruining somebody's season. Nobody gets to breathe. That's why Green Bay needs to come out of the first quarter of its schedule at least 500. Because without Parsons, every defensive possession becomes more expensive. Every third down matters more. Every slow start becomes dangerous. And offensively, there's another question hanging over this team. Jordan Love. Is he actually a top 5 quarterback? Not yet, according to one side of the argument. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford. That is the standard. Love has been good. He has been paid like a good quarterback. But critics want to see the playoff wins, the Super Bowl run, and the week-to-week consistency before giving him that elite label. And that creates the ultimate pressure point. And that creates the ultimate pressure point. Parsons has to transform the defense, while Love has to prove the offense can finally finish the job. And that brings us back to the player who could change everything. Because Parsons isn't talking like someone worried about returning to form. He's talking like someone preparing to unleash something. Parsons said people are worried about the knee. They should be worried about how he's going to play when he gets back. The anger, the frustration, the months without football. That is the warning. An ACL injury doesn't just challenge strength, it challenges confidence when an athlete plants, cuts, changes direction, especially when a 350-pound offensive lineman is trying to put him on the ground. But there's one moment that changes everything. That first explosive plant. That first violent change of direction. That first chase after a quarterback like Caleb Williams. If Parsons plants on that knee and feels nothing, if he suddenly feels completely like himself again, that's when the NFL has a problem. He may need a game or two to completely return to peak form.
But if the athleticism comes back quickly, the Packers could unleash the exact nightmare they were hoping to acquire, because the Packers don't need Micah Parsons to simply come back. They need him to come back as Micah Parsons. That's the real question hanging over Green Bay. Can the Packers survive long enough for their biggest weapon to return? Can Jordan Love finally turn talent into postseason results? And when Micah Parsons finally steps onto the field, potentially against Dallas on October 18th, will the knee be the story? Or will the knee become the least important thing anyone is talking about? Because Parsons already gave the NFL the answer. Don't worry about when I come back. Worry about how great I'm going to be when I do. And if he's right, the NFC North isn't just wide open. It's about to become a war.
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.